Namaste. Greetings of love and light to you, and welcome to another video where I wish to speak more on the awakening process and about self-realization. When it comes to talks on self, it's never ending. It's an unending discovery and a realization of all that exists truly within us. To begin this talk, I would like to read a little bit about the truths that exist in different scriptures and how it all leads to one place, which is the self. Starting with Christianity, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Islam, those who know themselves know their God. Buddhism, look within, you are the Buddha. Vedanta, Atma, that is the soul, and Brahman, that is consciousness, pure consciousness, are one. Yoga, God dwells within you as you. Confucianism, heaven, earth, and human are one body. And Upanishads, by realizing the self, all this universe is known. So all these different scriptures point to the same truth, that what is needed to be realized is within each and every one of us. And so this is the journey of self-realization. So I wish to share some information with you about the self, something that I have learned, recognized and realized within me, and what I wish can help you out on your journey. I have defined the self into 4 levels within me. The first is the true self. The true self is my soul, my consciousness that has embodied this body and many other bodies and different experiences of lifetimes in past lives, and will continue to do so in the future lifetimes. So in my true self, there exists wisdom, knowledge, samskaras, good and bad, from past lives, and all of those samskaras or those habits or patterns express themselves in this lifetime. Everyone is the same. Now, what doesn't allow me to be in my true self all the time is the false self or the ego. The ego is a limited understanding or memory of what has been accumulated in this lifetime. It can be good memories, bad memories, it can be any sort of belief system about God, creation, the universe, whatever it is, it all comes under the limits of the ego. As long as we are perceiving life through the eyes of the ego, through the false self, we don't see the reality. We live in Maya, in illusion. It is only by seeing beyond the limits of the ego, tapping into the true self and connecting to the higher self, do we see the reality of God, the true reality. Everything else is an illusion of the mind. This is what the scriptures are talking about, that the Buddha is within you, that the kingdom of God is within you. So the higher self is our access to heaven, our access to our God self. And that God self is aware, omnipotent, omnipresent. Anyone and everyone can connect to that self. All they have to do is look within, learn how to deeply meditate, learn how to surrender, learn how to pray with a heart full of devotion, and automatically the higher self starts to play out. And now what doesn't allow us to be connected to the higher self is the shadow self. The shadow self is where our darkness exists. If the light is taking us to the higher self, the darkness is bringing us to the shadow self. So when we do shadow work, we are cleaning out that darkness, cleaning out those elements that do not let us to be in tune with our true self or in alignment to our higher self. Shadow work allows us to see past the craving, past the limited desire, past the fear that creates a duality between what we wish to do and what we are compulsively doing. When we are doing whatever we are doing with awareness consciously, that is mastery. And when we are doing it unconsciously and compulsively, that is slavery. So the more we align to our true and higher self, the more we are becoming the master within us. And as long as the false self and the shadow self are playing through us, that is when we are becoming the slave. So learning to churn out, to purify the lower mind allows us to tap into the higher mind, allows us to access higher layers and levels of consciousness, which otherwise would be closed if we do not look within. Self-realization is a process that is never ending, that can go on for a lifetime, and when one is truly self-realized, they are liberated. They are unbound, free, avadut. There is no more karma that is binding them to limited experiences on this earth. They become the Buddha, the Christ, the Shiva, the Master, the God-like being who brings the presence of love, light, grace, freedom, and flow into this existence. They live it, they embody it, and they bring others into that reality. And this is an enlightened being, a bodhisattva, one who is truly established in that self and in being a channel for the higher self. So I pray this helps you out in learning to access your consciousness a little bit more. There will be more talks on this in the time to come, but this is just an introduction to learn about the true self, which is our soul consciousness, the false self, the ego mind that keeps us away from our true self, the higher self that helps us to tap into our inner light, to higher dimensional beings, to multidimensional realities, and then the shadow self that keeps us in a prison of our cravings and our limitations. And we learn to break free from the limitations and the cravings of the shadow self, and we learn to see past the limitations and the conditioning of the mind of the ego self, we're able to tap into that unbound free space of the true self, which is our soul consciousness, and from there move into abundance and higher vibrational realities through our higher self. And this is the journey. When we are established in the higher self, we don't need any knowledge or scriptures or practice. But to find ourselves out of the lower mind into the higher mind, we need to learn to cultivate sadhana. And that is the beauty of this process, that God exists within each and every one of us. What we need to do is clean the mirror of our hearts. When our hearts are open and clean, God is perceived in all that is. But when it's heavy and burdened, we lose the vision of light and we get lost in darkness. So let's find our way back to light. Sending lots of love and light to you. Thank you for joining in. See you soon. Hari Om.